Dart cluster is a process by which dart excess is being divided among multiple openings and treated as a single design unit. And there are variations to this. The very first one is the center front burst cluster. You can see the effects on the center front, and it is what I'll be discussing in this video. Now the next is the shoulder cluster. Can you see the effects on the shoulder? Can you see it? Very lovely. And the third is the waist cluster. Now if you're interested, let's get started. Okay guys, this is my pattern. So my design is going to be created on this front pattern. Okay, now the first thing to do is to transfer the dart from the waist, from the bust to the waist. So but before I do that, I will be extending all the darts, the two darts now, to the bust point. I want my dart to start from the bust point. Okay, now I'll be transferring the bust dart to the waist. So the first thing is to open up the waist dart. Then after slashing it as shown, I will be slashing the bust as well. Then close the bust dart to open up the other dart. So now I can cut off the dart allowance. Okay, so now I have my bust dart now on the waist line. Okay, so for the side, of course, I'm going to just blend it up, and I need little paper to do that. So that is what you're seeing right now. Okay, so look at what I have now. Now from the bust point, I will measure 1 inch towards the center front, and from there 1 inch towards the side, both right and left of the bust line. Can you see the very first point I marked? So 1 inch on both sides as shown. Okay, here, here, and here must be the same measurements. Okay, so from here is 3 inches. Yeah, as you can see, this is 3 inches. Here has to be 3 inches. Okay, so from the bust point, I'm going to be connecting to this point. Okay, so can you see now? And I'm going to combine these 3 points with a straight line. Okay, can you see now? So from this, yes, this is the center front, of course. So right now here I will measure 3/4 inch on both sides from the bust line to the right, 3/4 inch, and to the other side as well, 3/4 inch. So and this point has to be joined to this. Can you see what I have? Okay, so now I'm going to be slashing. Okay, these are my slash lines, and I'm going to slash as usual to the bust point, but ensure that you don't cut through. Can you see what I have? Okay, so next is to close my dart. So which means I'm transferring all the darts that I have to the center front, okay, to have my clusters. Can you see? This is very simple to do. So now with this, I need paper. I'm using another color of paper so that you guys can see what I'm doing clearly. Of course, you are going to secure with your tape, and this is what I have. Now I'm joining this together. It doesn't really matter, you may not even do this. So this part I'm going to be adding my seam allowance of 1/2 inch, and once I get to 1 inch before the beginning of my dart clusters, okay? So it has to be 1 inch before the beginning of my slash lines or my new dart clusters. Can you see what I have? So, and it has to be the same as well. The end of the dart clusters, from there you measure 1 inch down, and this is where you're going to come out from. Can you see what I'm doing? So instead of coming from with 1/2 inch right from the top of it, maybe the neckline down, you have to, once you are about to get to the dart clusters, you need to come out. Okay, you don't continue with the 1/2 inch. You need to come out by 1 inch. Okay, while the rest will be 1/2 inch. Can you see what I have now? Can you see? So of course you are going to trim later, but that will not be now. Okay, when you should trim, I'm going to be telling you. Okay, so now this can actually be in form of a pleat. You can sew it in form of a pleat, or you sew it in form of a dart. Now if you're sewing it in form of a dart, this is what you do. Okay, you connect from the edge there down to outward to the beginning or to the peak, and you also do the same here as well. So that is if you want to sew it, you want to stitch it and make it look like a dart. So that is where your dart will start from and end. you don't go in. Okay, so and once you are done with that, you are going to just fold it and stitch. This is a pattern paper, so I'm only telling you what you guys can do if you are to sew it using your fabric. Okay, so just assume that this is your fabric and you want to sew a dart, a normal dart. So of course a normal dart is, the shape is like this, so you stop here. That's what you do, and once you finish sewing the dart, then you bring it down towards the waistline. So you sew each of the darts. These are 3 darts now. They are called dart clusters. And if you don't want to sew it, you can pleat it. Yes, you can pleat it if you don't want to sew it. So you can pleat, you can sew like a dart, and you can do a pin tuck. Okay, you can do a pin tuck. You can tuck it instead of maybe sewing it like a dart. So you tuck it, you pleat it, or you stitch it like a dart. Okay, and this is what you have. So however, whichever way you want to do it, fine, you are free, and it will still look amazing. It will still look very lovely. Okay, now here I assume that I've stitched and I need to trim. So just ensure you trim it this way. Okay, so now as the allowance is coming from the top, is going down. So this is what you will stitch to the other side. I hope you understand my point. So you are going to cut 2 of this to make the full front, and you're going to join at the center. Okay, so viewing it from the wrong side, this is what you have. Can you see what you have? This is the look, and this is how the right side is going to look like. Okay, can you see? So this is not, of course, this is not going to be your right side because you are going to sew in. Okay, so this is what I have. Can you see how beautiful it is? So this is what is called dart clusters. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please ensure you give me a thumbs up. Ensure you give this video a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.